Hey guys, welcome in. And as you're coming in, you'll probably see a poll up on your screen. Go ahead and answer those quick questions for us while we wait for everyone to join. And we'll get started in just a moment. While we wait for everyone to answer that poll, I'm just going to go ahead and get started with what our topic's going to be today. So today we are going to be covering unlocking the potential of tags in OneView. So we will be looking at tags in V2, how to add them, how to view and filter in that tags column. Also running reports based on your tags, and then good use cases for tags. And then we'll also be taking a look at tags in V2 as well, or V1 as well. That team dashboard, utilizing tracking tags as well as utilizing forms tags. And today, our presenters are going to be Brandon and Danessa. And so, yeah, as you guys finish wrapping up that poll here, we'll be getting started in just a moment. Do know that there is a Q&A at the bottom of your screen. This is going to allow you to ask any questions as we are going through today's Modio U. So Danette, Leah, myself, and Azure, we're going to be on the chat. And if you ask a question and we take a little longer to answer it, or maybe we hold to the end to ask that question, it's just because we want to share it with everyone. It's probably really great questions that other people may have. So sometimes we just hold those to the end to answer. All right. And we'll wait about another moment. I still see lots of folks still popping in. If you're just joining us, go ahead and answer that poll that you should see on your screen. All right. And I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to turn the screen over to Brandon.
All right, thank you, Sarah, so much for the introduction. So welcome everyone. So again, just to reiterate what Sarah was saying, if you guys missed our agenda, so in today's Modio U, we are going to be discussing our tags feature within V2 and V1. So just to explain a tag is a customizable identifier that can represent various attributes such as like specialties, locations, certification statuses, and other just like relevant criteria pertinent to your organization's needs. So these identifiers, they can be used as like filters. So when you're working with your providers and like their profiles, so they're both in V1 and V2, that tags feature. So it's used throughout. So, Brandon, can you show us that tags feature?
Yeah, absolutely, Danessa. And I apologize, you guys. My camera is off because my internet, if I turn it on, I'm afraid I'm gonna get disconnected. So I'm here, I promise. But thank you, Danessa. So the tags feature, as you guys probably know, in V1, especially on the Teams page, a lot of clients use this, there's this tags column right here, where this is that unique identifier that's customized by you guys. So if I come down and I filter down and I want to see all my dermatology providers, it'll filter that roster for us. That's currently how it's used in V1. Well, we have made some major enhancements to the tags feature in OneView V2 that we would love to show you guys today. So let me navigate there real quick. So as we all know, when you're working in V2, your profiles kind of go away, right? It's all grid based. So across my screen are the different, tabs. And so like right now I'm in the licensor section. So I'm in the state licensing grid. So a couple things. One enhancement we made is we've allowed the ability to have each grid have its own subset of tags. So the state license grid, when I go to the tags column right here, and I click on this drop down, these are the current tags that are in use that I can filter by that's tied in with this grid. Whereas if I go to, let's say, the work experience tab, right, and I go to the tags column here, the practice and employer grid has its own subset of tags. So that's been an enhancement we made. The other thing to call out as well, those of you who are currently using the tags feature on the Teams page in V1, those existing tags are also available in V2 under the provider info grid. So if you guys didn't know that already, those tags automatically float over in this grid. So again, just FYI. Now, how to create a tag, right, in V2. So it's kind of similar to V1. There's a little bit of difference, but like, for example, if I go to the licensure section and I want to add some tags here. So what you got to do is you locate the record you want to create the tag on. Let's say it's this Dr. Avocaporo. And I come over here to the right in the actions column, and you're going to see this little paper icon. Now you'll see this same icon, well, this same button in V1, it just looks different. This is the edit tool, the pencil to paper icon. So you click on this guy, this little side drawer is going to appear for you. And over here is the tags tab. And this is where you can create your tag. So just like in V1, when you click on it, a drop-down will appear. This is a running smart list of the existing tags that are already in use within that grid. So you can either add or select one of the tags in use, or you can create a net new tag that you just want. Now, in V1, those of you who are heavy tags users, you know that when you add it in V1, you have to hit the tab button on your keyboard, the TAB button. Well, here in V2, you don't have to do that. Just click on it down here, and it will add that tag for you there. And so that is how you can create a tag within V2.
Perfect. Thank you for showing us that, Brandon. That seems really easy to do. But I noticed when you clicked on like the tags column drop down, it appeared that you could like filter by multiple tags. Can you show us how we can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is a major enhancement that we made. And let me show you this from the provider info grid. Or better yet, the work experience grid. So if I come in here and I go to the tags column in the practice and employer grid, when I click on the drop down here, you can actually filter now by multiple tags within this grid. So if I want to see just the locations that are in Montana and in Utah that I've tagged, you can do that. You can filter by multiple tags, which is a huge, super nice. Now, one thing to call out, because I've goofed up on this a few times, if you check the no tags here, it's going to show you all the records with no tags. And I was like looking at this the other day, I'm like, man, why is this showing up? All these different, I'm like, oh, well, it's because I have this selected. So just be cautious of that. Just select the ones that you truly want to filter by. But that's how you can filter.
Cool. Do you know, just like by chance, like off the top, Brandon, just so I can get like a better idea, what are some use cases, like some really good use cases for tags?
Yeah, sure. So there's a couple examples that I've seen some customers utilize the tags feature, especially within V2, since you have that multiple, filter that you can select, filter by. But like I've seen folks use the practice and employer grid to filter by, by location, by state, by region, by group. I've seen it done by group. So those are some use cases for the practice and employer grid. I've seen them used in the licensure grid, where if you have some providers that are telemed and some providers that see, patients in person, you can use the tags feature to filter by that. So like if I go in here and I say, I just want to see all my telemed licenses or telemed providers, I can filter that way. Or if I just want to see all my on-site providers, you can do that. So I've seen it used in that manner in the licensure grid. I've also seen some customers utilize the provider info grid right here, where they actually assign work out to the team. So like you can use this info grid to filter down to say, hey, where are all of Brandon's providers, right? Okay, he's working on these 3 providers here, or, Danessa, right? It's showing you, here's these 3 providers for Danessa. So those are a couple of use cases that I've seen the tags features be utilized.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for showing me some of those. That helps a lot. One question that always comes up is reporting. So, I'm just curious, how can the tags be beneficial when it comes to reporting?
Absolutely. So this is another major enhancement that we've made and implemented in V2. So within, and if you guys don't know, so within every single grid in V2, there's reporting capabilities to those grids. So like if I go to the state licensure grid, which is where I'm at, you can move these around, right? These columns to mimic how you want them to look. And then over here in the top right corner, there's this little, I call it the three dots icon, but the correct technical term is an ellipsis. You can remember that, fantastic. Sometimes I don't. But you click on the little ellipsis here, the three dots icon, and this drop down appears. And then when you scroll down, there is an exporting tool down here at the bottom of the drop down where you can export to an Excel or a CSV file and or a PDF. And so when you export that, let's say as a PDF, you'll be able to run that report, and that report is going to mimic how you have it set up. Okay, so that's the reporting in V2. So tackle that with tags, right? Or connect that with tags. When you use this as a filter, and I say, I just want to see my telemed providers, it'll filter that report down. And now when I run or export that grid into a PDF, it's going to show me exactly what's appearing here within the grid, how I filtered it. So if I open this up, bam, there's the two providers that I have in that grid. And so when it comes to reporting, it can be super handy to use those tags as filters to get whatever type of report that you need for that grid.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for showing that, Brandon. I know the advanced reporting options in V2 is actually one of my favorite features. So thank you for going over that. Just to kind of circle back though, at the beginning of our call, you did mention that OneView has the tags feature throughout the platform. Can you show us some other areas of OneView where we can find this feature?
Yeah, sure. So a couple of the features that are back in V1 that heavily use tags is going to be the forms feature right here. And so those of you who are using this feature, this is where you're going to see all your forms that are listed that's available to you within the platform. Well, if you've ever noticed, there is a tag column over here for you. And this is where you can use that also as a filter. So the forms feature has its own subset of tags you can create and filter by. And so like, for example, if I go to this provider application with CAQH and I want to tag that here, how to do that is I just simply come over here to the actions column. I click on that little edit tool, the pencil to paper icon, and this little window pops up. And here's where you'll see that tag field. Now, when it comes to the forms feature, it's a little bit different. It doesn't create that running smart list that you would normally see. So you just come in and create whatever tag. Oh, so if I type out like CAQH, it'll create that tag for you. And so that way, when you save it, it'll be saved and you can filter that as a tag. A couple use cases, there it is. A couple use cases that I've seen the forms feature be utilized for tags is, again, those of you that utilize this feature know that you can get wet signatures through DocuSign. And so maybe some folks will come in here and they'll tag their wet signature forms that require wet signature, and it'll filter it down that way. Or they'll use it by payer, by region, by state, if it's related to CAQH. And so again, you can utilize a tag for whatever identifier you need it for. But that's kind of a use case for the tags and the forms feature. Another feature within the platform that we see heavily used for the tags feature is the tracking feature right here. So again, those of you using this workflow management tool called tracking, you'll notice that up here at the top, there are also tags that you can filter by. So how to do so is when you just, come in here to your forms dashboard, you locate the tracking that you want to create the tag on, and then you open it up as you would open up a tracking event normally. And then up here at the top of your tracking event, there is also that tags field. Now, this does give you that running smart list, so you can choose from the existing list of those that are currently in use. Or again, you can go ahead and create your own. So a couple use cases that I've seen used for tags in the tracking feature is you can use it as like an assigning tool. You can, to where you assign it out to the team and put their name as the tag. I've seen it done by team. So like if you want to tag, let's say you're on the payer team and you want to have a tag so you can filter to see the work queue for just the payer team or maybe the onboarding team. So those are some use cases that I've seen used by our customers in the tracking.
Oh, thank you so much, Brandon. That was great. And I love just the tags feature in general. I love how customizable it is. So definitely a good feature to take advantage of. Um, Sierra, Leah, Azure, are there any questions in the chat?
Yeah, there was one that I wanted to read out to the group. And it's around, it was talking about tagging for like multi-state licenses. And I was wondering if you would quick show the option, that little shield icon in the state column. It's under just up to the Colorado. It's like a little down just a little further. It's the gray field.
Oh,
That's an identifier for multi-state licenses. And if you open that grid, there's a yes, no checkbox, and that's how you get that little icon to show up. So open the license fully. I don't think you can do it with the closed one. And then multi-state is yes, and that yes is why that gray icon is showing up. If we change that to no, then it would go away. So that was all. So that's kind of a good to know when people are deciding what tags to use. There were a couple questions regarding navigating from V1 to V2. Would you show that again really quick?
Yeah, sure. So if you're at V1 and you want to get to V2, the only way in the current state to get there is got to be on the Teams page, and it's this OneView V2 button right here. This is where you want to click to get to V2. Now, if you're in V2 and you want to navigate to V1, it's almost seamless. Basically, just click on any one of these features up here at the top left, and it'll get you back to the V1. So, like if I want to go to the provider roster and Teams and V1, I click on Team, bam, and it navigates you back. So it's almost seamless that way. But current state to get to V2, it's just through this button right here.
While we're in V1, Brandon, can you show real quick just how to add a tag in V1 in case they don't have any tags in V1 yet?
Absolutely. So it's kind of similar to V2, and I apologize, you guys. I should have shown this at the beginning. But like if I wanted to tag this profile here in V1 on the provider roster, just simply go over here to the actions column and you click on the edit tool, the pencil to paper icon right here. And you'll have this little module pop up for you. And then right up there at the top, here's the tags field. And again, this is where you can go in and you can select any existing tags that are in use, or you can create your own net new tag, right? Now, in V1, this is where you want to hit the tab button. So it creates that little border for you. That's how you can save it. If you don't do that and you just save, it won't save the tag. So you always want to hit the tab button on your keyboard so it creates that little border for you. But that's how you can create it. Then you hit save, and bam, there are those two tags right there that you can filter by. Any other questions, you guys?
I think, Leah, that's a good point that you brought up, and I don't think we did.
I was just gonna mention we've had like a growing request on like scripting tags from grid to grid in V2. So like if somebody wanted all the same tags on a specific set of grids or all the grids, instead of doing it manually, y'all can send like a detailed request over to support@modiohealth.com. And then our team will look at it, maybe ask you some follow-up questions, and then put in that request to do it on. We can help you with some of that, eliminate some of that manual process of adding tags to every single grid. That's all.
Yeah, that's a great point, Lee. And just to kind of visualize what Leah's describing, and again, thank you for covering that. again, in V2, it's grid based. And so how I mentioned each grid can have its own subset of tags. Well, if you have a use case where you have to create tags in all of your grids or a bunch of your grids, we can help you do that lift. So just like Leah said, send over a support email or a ticket to support, and then we can help you from there to see if we can help you script it in or create it to make it easier for you.
We also have a question about, Brandon, is there a way to minimize the action sidebar icon page in V2? And I know we covered that recently, you and I did in the What's New Modio U, but could you just highlight again how the update that they did to the sidebar so that it doesn't always pop open when you go to it? Do you remember? Yeah.
You're gonna have to help me.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So there was a recent update to the sidebar to make it so that it doesn't automatically open. So go ahead and just open up one of the, yeah. So if you'll notice, folks, while he's opening that person's extended view, it's not opening the sidebar. Now, if he goes and opens the little tags icon, you know, go ahead and open the paper. It does open up. Now, if he goes ahead and just closes it to the far right-hand corner, yep. Now, go ahead and open up scroll down, just pick another person to open up. It will not open up the sidebar again. However, go ahead and open up that again. And now just close the expanded view from the far left or cancel, that'll work. Now open up another person. It's gonna open up that side drawer again. So if you wanna prevent the side drawer from opening, make sure that you close it from the far right, up there, yep. And then the next time you open up a expanded view, it won't do that again. So then you get that limited sidebar action.
Thank you for the refresher, Azure.
You're welcome.
That's something we just barely added. And a great call out too.
So there's also a question that says, just to add additional clarification on the spreadsheets with the tags that are needed to go for moving it from one area to the other. And if you don't mind, Brandon and Danessa, I'll go ahead and just answer this one for this person because they wanted to know. So yes, the question is, so you just send in a spreadsheet with the tags that are needed. You do just need to send in some kind of email or spreadsheet. Yeah. What you want to tell us is where the tags are living right now and where you want them applied. And if you want them applied to the providers exactly the way that you have them. So let's say that you have all of your V1 tags just the way you want them in V1, and you want them to apply to the work experience section to all of your providers just exactly the same way. You just let us know that, and you can send that to support@modiohealth.com, and we can make that happen. If you want those to go to work experience and licensure or whatever the case may be, you just let us know that. So it doesn't have to be in a spreadsheet. It could just be in an email, whatever you need it to be, just to let us know where are they now, where would you like them to be applied, and do you want them exactly the same way that they are?
Thank you, Azure. There's also one other question that I think would be a good one, Brandon. It says on the forms tag, it looks like you can only put one tag on each form. Is that correct? Or is there a way to put multiple tags on a form?
That's good call out, Nessa. Great question, by the way. So current state with the forms feature, a form can only have one tag at a time. It cannot have multiple like you do in other places where this feature exists. So it only can have one tag at a time.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you. Great question.
Hey, Brandon, I have one too. So the question is asking if tags can be applied in the licensure section, and that they do not see a like column for it. So can we pop into V2 really quickly? So tags can be added in the licensure section. If you are not seeing that tags column, it may be a possibility that in that booklet icon under the three dots menu, perfect. You want to make sure that tags is checked. It's up towards the top there, right under primary specialty. That way that column is enabled and you're able to see those tags. And then you can go in and create your licensure tags.
Yeah, and it's a little bit tricky. So just to show you guys, and I apologize. I should have showed you how to do this as well at the beginning. But when you're in the grid where you want tags to be visible, or at least the tags column to be visible, you may have to enable that. So you come over here to the top right corner of the grid, click on that little three dots icon. And when you do that, this drop down appears, but also this little column icon appears as well. And that's what you click on to choose what columns you want to have visible within this grid. And that is where you would select the tags option. See how it goes away and comes back.
And if you're not seeing it, you may want to drag it. It may be hidden on the right-hand side, so you may need to drag it over. That can always be a possibility too.
So there was a follow-up question there. Can we create a tag right where you are? So yeah, so once you've enabled it, once you make sure that that tag column is enabled, you would go into the side drawer, which is going to be that paper icon, and you'd be able to create your licensure tags. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, great question and follow-up.
So there's one more follow-up question about the side drawer activity. And they said, so is there no way to minimize it entirely for the whole roster of providers? And I just want to clarify that once you have closed that side drawer properly, that behavior sticks that way until you go and reopen that side drawer again on any one of the grids. So it'll just stay closed. You can't really make it any less big than what it is. But we do always take feedback on the platform. So Brandon, can you kind of just highlight where the chat button is down there? You can either send your feedback in by email, or if you want to, when you click on the chat button, if you want to give us feedback on if you click on the request with help, that button, you can do, there should be an option for feedback, I think, or yeah, features requests, so products and features requests. So you can always submit your feedback that way as well. That's how we do take those requests seriously. So every time, if you've ever been to one of our What's New on Modio U, you'll notice that a lot of those product enhancements came from direct feedback from our clients. So if you have suggestions or feedback, please feel free to send those in, because we love to hear it, and we'll do the best we can to take that feedback and try to make enhancements as much as possible. So, and I think that clears out the queue.
Perfect. All right, then. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Please be sure to check out that Modio U tab to see our upcoming Modio U's that we have coming up this quarter. But of course, if there are any other questions that we may not have been able to answer for you today, please always feel free to send us an email at support@modiohelp.com or use that chat feature that Azure just pointed out for us. But thank you guys so much for your time. And thank you, Brandon.
You bet. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your week.
Take care.
Thank you.